Jadi bisa mengejar demokrasi yang sedang berlangsung luar biasa sekarang di negara kita, sehingga bisa sejajar gitu. Kalau lebih sejajar antara demokrasi, pendidikan dan kesejahteraan ini, maka kita hidup akan lebih penuh kepastian. Tidak ada, ya akan berjaya lagi ya di dunia.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Adi Tahir atas waktu dan informasinya begitu terkait dengan dunia usaha saat ini, perkembangannya seperti apa. Dan pemirsa, dari perbincangan tadi dapat saya ambil begitu salah satu kutipan dari Pak Adi Tahir terkait dengan kesejahteraan dan demokrasi yang harus berjalan seimbang, dan ini menjadi salah satu tugas pemerintah untuk bagaimana bisa meningkatkan kesejahteraan dari masyarakat untuk bisa meningkatkan perekonomian Indonesia ke depannya. Dan pemirsa, demikian perbincangan saya bersama dengan Bapak Adi Tahir, Dewan Kehormatan dari Kadin Indonesia terkait dengan optimisme dunia usaha. Dan saksikan selalu perbincangan saya bersama dengan narasumber-narasumber lainnya. Saya Fajar Wayong, terima kasih banyak dan sampai jumpa.
Indonesia is working on the biggest floating solar power plant in Southeast Asia. Halfway to finish 2021, PP Presisi obtained 91% net profit growth. Hello, good evening viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. Soon, Indonesia will have the biggest floating solar power plant in Southeast Asia in 2022. The certainty comes as national state electricity has been funded of $140 million. Therefore, the construction is about to begin.
Floating solar power plant project in Jakarta has reached the stage of financial close agreement. A syndicate of three national banks, namely Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, Societe Generale, and Standard Chartered Bank, is ready to fund the construction of the largest floating solar power plant in South Asia. Investment is around $140 million, and the President Director of National State Electricity, Zulkifli Zaini, said that this environmental friendly power plant will soon to be built, and it is targeted to operate commercially on schedule by the end of 2022.
Proyek bangkit ramah lingkungan ini akan dapat beroperasi komersial sesuai target, yaitu pada akhir 2022. Kehadiran dari PLTS terapung Cirata 142 MW AC ini akan menjadi revolusi pengembangan energi baru terbarukan di dalam negeri. Mengingat pembangkit ini akan mengimbangi 214.000 ton emisi karbon dioksida.
The development of these national strategic projects is expected to contribute to the achievement of the national new renewable energy mix target of 23% by 2025. Jakarta, Adi Firmansyah, IDX Channel.
Government's COVID-19 restriction has made retailers suffer, especially for those who rent outlets. Therefore, the government has given policy to exempt VAT from rent bill.
Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani Indrawati has officially applied incentives for business actors, especially for those who rent outlets in shopping centers or malls. Government is now exempting value-added tax with government-born scheme. This policy is contained in the Minister of Finance Regulations number 102, and here it is the same. The government will exempt the VAT for August up to October rent cost that will be due by August to November 2021. The incentives included in 2021 National Economic Recovery Program are given to retailers who rent outlets, especially outlets located in shopping centers, complexes, apartment facilities, hotels, hospitals, and others. People can get the incentive in easy way as long as they are taxpayers. IDX Channel reported.
The government, through the Ministry of Social Affairs, ensures that it will take firm action against all forms of illegal levies or other acts of corruption targeting social protection programs or social assistance during the implementation of PPKM. The Minister of Social Affairs, Tri Risma hari ini, explained that the ministry had taken 3 steps to prevent this from happening again. The first step is to cooperate with the police and the attorney to investigate public reports on alleged extortion by unscrupulous persons. Second, the minister ensures that social assistants have received sufficient salaries so that it is not justified for any reason to cut social assistance funds. Third, the Ministry of Social Affairs has asked local governments to continue to update data on recipients of social assistance in order to avoid potential misuse of aid.
Sebetulnya para pendamping ini sudah menerima gaji. Jadi mereka sudah menerima gaji. Dan kemudian artinya bahwa tidak ada alasan lagi mereka kemudian memotong untuk apapun karena mereka menerima gaji. Yang ketiga, untuk masyarakat sendiri sebetulnya semenjak saya menjadi menteri mulai bulan Januari itu kita minta daerah membetulkan datanya. Jadi ada kurang lebih 14 juta data itu yang dibetulkan.
Moving on to global update, China announced mass coronavirus testing in Wuhan as widening outbreaks of the Delta variant reached the city. Meantime, Qantas says it will stand down 2,500 staff as a lockdown in Sydney impacts air travel across Australia. More stories on today's International Minute.
China announced mass coronavirus testing in Wuhan as widening outbreaks of the Delta variant reached the city, where the disease was first detected in late 2019. While the total number of cases is still in the hundreds, they are far more widespread than anything China has dealt with since the initial outbreak that devastated Wuhan in early 2020 and over time spread to the rest of the country and the world. Qantas says it will stand down 2,500 staff as a lockdown in Sydney impacts air travel across Australia. The furlough affecting pilots, crew and airport workers will last for at least 2 months, the airline said. Qantas said it would pay staff until mid-August, after which they could apply for government support payments. Since June, fresh COVID outbreaks have forced most Australian states to reimpose restrictions. BMW reported 4.8 billion euros or $5.7 billion in net profit in the second quarter, rounding out a strong earnings season for the Germany's 3 big automakers as global auto markets continue to recover from the pandemic, particularly when it comes to luxury cars. However, the company warned that shortage of electronic parts could make productions and sales for the rest of the year volatile. Fully vaccinated people have an around 50% to 60% reduced risk of infection from the Delta coronavirus variant, including those who are asymptomatic, a large English coronavirus prevalence study found. Imperial College London researchers said people who reported receiving 2 vaccine doses were half as likely to test positive for COVID-19, adjusting for other factors such as age. IDX Channel reports.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Ingin menjalani kehidupan yang mapan dan masa depan yang sejahtera? Sikapi uang dengan bijak. Mulailah berinvestasi di pasar modal. Dengan membeli saham melalui Bursa Efek maupun perusahaan sekuritas, Anda dapat menikmati hasil keuntungan dari perusahaan-perusahaan besar yang tersedia. Pastikan Anda berinvestasi di perusahaan yang memiliki izin resmi. Cerdas mengelola, masa depan sejahtera. Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, lembaga pengawas industri jasa keuangan yang terpercaya.
Awali hari Anda dengan beragam informasi bisnis terkini yang kami kemas dalam berita teraktual dan berkualitas. News Screen Morning menyajikan informasi ekonomi, bisnis, dan keuangan. News Screen Evening mengulas seputar ekonomi makro dan mikro, fiskal, moneter, dan sektorial Indonesia. Market Headline menayangkan berita ekonomi dan bisnis dalam bahasa Inggris.
Indonesia receive...
Saksikan program-program berita ekonomi dan bisnis terkini langsung dari sumbernya, live hanya di IDX Channel. Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Halfway through the Tokyo Olympics, organizers so far have suspended and revoked the credentials of 14 games participants for failing to adhere to playbooks with strict coronavirus prevention measure in place.
In the year leading up to the delayed Summer Olympics, public opinion polls in Japan showed people overwhelmingly against holding the game in the country. Some feared it would spread the coronavirus. And as the Olympic is now going on, the government sets strict health protocol. CEO Toshiro Muto said on Sunday that 6 people had their accreditations moved, while another 8 had theirs temporarily suspended. Additionally, organizers have had 10 cases of strict warning incidents and collected 4 signed pledges of the top of those warning. Muto believed these incidents will affect the reputations of the majority of the game's stakeholders who are adhering the rules. In order for the games to be successful, stakeholders need to adhere to the rules. 2 Georgian judoka medalists were among those expelled, organizers confirmed. IDX Channel reported.
Bearing a last-minute cancellation amid rising COVID-19 cases in Japan, the 2020 Olympics finally get underway in Tokyo. In its current form, it will now be held behind closed doors without spectators with full strict health protocol. This is a bitter pill for both the public and organizers to swallow after a massive amount of investment. Severe cost overruns have become the norm for Olympic host cities, and currently Japan's loss is the most fantastic one due to cost overrun. Let's see how expensive Tokyo Olympic is in the next graphic. This is the first graphic to be exact. This is massive cost behind Tokyo Olympic 2020 postponement cost as much as $2.8 billion and 2021 final costs as much as $22 billion. And the event was supposed to take place between July 24 and August 9, 2020, but it was postponed in March of last year due to the pandemic. It is estimated that 2020 postponement alone cost Japan $2.8 billion, 2/3 of which was paid with public funding. That came on top of existing cost overruns that were laid bare by financial newspapers Nikkei and Asahi. The final cost is $22 billion, according to Japan's National Audit Board, but actually it is a way bigger than it was actually designed. Let's see changes in the next graphic. This is Tokyo Olympic costs, bid committee projection, $7.3 billion. The final cost, $22 billion, and whopping final costs as much as $28 billion. When Tokyo was awarded the Olympics back in 2013, the bid committee projected total costs of $7.3 billion, a figure that was revised upwards to $12.6 billion in December 2019, ahead of the postponement. However, Japan's National Audit Board then reported that the final cost would be substantially higher at $22 billion before Nikkei and Asahi put the bill at a whopping $28 billion. When the Japanese people now faces dramatic cost overruns while preparing the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, they are not the first to learn a hard economic lesson. A recent academic study argues that the Olympic Games are naturally subject to severe cost overruns. Let's see the cost behind other Olympic Games in the next graphic. This is cost behind Olympic Games, Athens 2004, as much as $2.9 million. Turin 2006, $4.4 million. Beijing 2008, $6.8 million. Vancouver, $2.5 million in 2010. Meanwhile, the Olympics that was held in London in 2012, the cost as much as $15 million. Sochi, 21.9, Rio de Janeiro, 13.7, Pyongyang, 12.9. Meantime, Tokyo held the highest costs in doing or conducting the Olympic, as much as $28 million. Many cities have learned harsh economic lessons from hosting the games down through the years. Some have taken past mistakes on board, and Hamburg is a notable example where the city's 2015 hosting bid was rejected by its inhabitants on cost grounds in a referendum. Many others have learned the lesson the hard way, according to research conducted by University of Oxford in 2016. It claims that the event ballooned in cost of numerous occasions down through the years. Let's see the notable examples in the next graphic. This is Olympics cost overrun Montreal in 1976, as much as 720%. Barcelona in 1992, 266%. Rio de Janeiro in 2016, the cost overrun as much as 325%. Montreal in 1976 came in 720% over budget, and the 1992 games in Barcelona that saw a 266% most overrun or cost overrun. In more recent years, the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro cost just under $14 billion, which represented a 352% cost overrun, while in 2012, games in London had a bill of just 15 or under 15 billion, 76 over budget, and 76%, And improving management and mitigate risk behind cost overruns is important to hold Olympics. And in the end, Olympics are undoubtedly a fantastic international proving ground for athletes. It gives them the opportunity to compete against athletes of a similar level on an international stage and also bring all countries united. But nothing but the best for the Tokyo Olympics. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.
Kini aplikasi mClears hadir di handphone Anda untuk memudahkan transaksi Anda. Informasi aktivitas clearing dan penjaminan tidak lagi hanya dapat diakses melalui komputer di kantor Anda, melainkan dapat diakses di mana saja dan kapan saja dalam genggaman Anda. Fitur-fitur mClears. Equity clearing dan settlement adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi kewajiban settlement anggota clearing hingga nilai alternate case settlement serta informasi gagal bayar. Risk management adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, kolateral, MKBD, portofolio harian, risk charge anggota clearing dan kombinasi, serta nilai minimum cash collateral. Derivatif adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, margin call, dan informasi clearing derivatif. Terkait pinjam-meminjam efek, terdapat fitur mengenai borrowing information dan lendable pool information, serta lending revenue dan borrowing fee. Serta menu lain yang menampilkan informasi mengenai haircut, risk charge saham, dan nilai harga penyelesaian harian dan harga penyelesaian final. Selain itu, Anda juga dapat mengakses fitur pengumuman, peraturan, dan informasi layanan KPEI pada aplikasi mClears. Download aplikasi mClears di App Store atau Google Play Store. Lakukan registrasi user Anda dengan menggunakan alamat email berdomain resmi yang sesuai dengan anggota clearing Anda. Setelah registrasi, Anda akan diberikan kode OTP di email Anda untuk verifikasi. Dan aplikasi mClears Anda siap untuk digunakan. Anda dapat mengakses seluruh menu pada aplikasi mClears dengan melakukan aktivasi berlangganan premium yang dapat dilakukan dengan memilih menu Get Premium. Download aplikasinya sekarang, lakukan registrasi, dan dapatkan kemudahan dalam genggaman tangan Anda. Kemudahan informasi KPEI dalam genggaman Anda.
We're at the last segment, and the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today. JCI was opened at the level of 6,142.48. Then approaching the closing time of the session, the index was on the level of 6,148.79. Then the index was showing a strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,159.03. In short, JCI went up 0.46%. Next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got finance as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.18%. Transportation and logistics went up 1.14%. And we got technology as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 0.76%. And industry went down 0.63%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. BBKP went up 24.41% to the level of 525 per share. BABP went up 4.34% to the level of 505 per share. BBYB went up 24.74% to the level of 1,210 per share. And NICL went up 10% to the level of 176 per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BACA went down 6.04% to the level of 498 rupiah per share. Friend went down 4.94% to the level of 154 rupiah per share. And Antam went down 2.02% to the level of 2,420 rupiah per share. And TOWR went down 1.78% to the level of 1,380 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level 14,337 rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 14,314. In summary, rupiah went up 0.29%. PP Presisi reported positive performance throughout first semester of 2021. The company obtained 91% net profit growth.
Supported by positive operating profit, PP Prasetyo managed to record EBITDA of up to $463 billion in the second half of 2021. The number increased by 12% year-on-year from 413.4 billion rupiah in the same period in 2020. According to Ruli Noviandar, President Director of PP Prasetyo, the increase in EBITDA is indeed in line with the increase in operating profit by 24% year-on-year to 227 billion rupiah in the first semester. Meanwhile, the company's net profit also skyrocketed by 90.7% up to 67.5 billion rupiah, thus encouraging an increase in net profit by 91% from 18.8 billion rupiah to 35.9 billion rupiah. Ruli added that the positive performance could not be separated from the operational improvement and the success of the cost leadership program that was carried out, including the reduction in interest costs, in addition to the income from the LMA consortium. IDX Channel reports.
The financial performance of Adikarya is starting to improve, even though it is still reeling in the midst of economic pressure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the second quarter of 2021, net profit went up 19%.
Citing the financial statements for the second quarter of 2021, Adikarya still recorded a 19% decline in the revenue year-on-year to 4.4 trillion rupiah from previously 5.52 trillion rupiah in the second quarter of 2020. Despite declining revenues, Adikarya managed to record a 19% growth in the profit attributable of the owners of the parent entity. Profit in the second quarter was 8.2 billion rupiah, while the second quarter of 2020 profit was 6.99 billion rupiah only. It was recorded that until the first semester of 2021, Adikarya managed to book 55% increase in the new contracts. The realizations of acquisitions of the new contract amounted 6.7 trillion rupiah. IDX Channel reported.
Unicharm Indonesia is about to roll out dividend from last year's profit. It has been approved by Unicharm's annual general meeting.
Listed company Unicharm Indonesia will distribute 20% of the last year's profit as dividends to shareholders. This plan has been approved by Unicharm's annual general meeting of shareholders. Unicharm will distribute a total dividend of 62.34 billion rupiah, and based on the announcement of the Indonesian Central Securities Depository, the dividend amount is 15.04 rupiah a share. The dividend will be rolled out by August 27, 2021. IDX Channel reported.
Step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role in current economic situation, and here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And as the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, keep protecting your family by following the health protocols, wearing face masks, keep your distance and stay away from crowds. wash your hands through running water, and also continue to support the vaccination program to accelerate the creation of herd immunity. I'm Wicky Adrian, have a nice evening and stay safe.
But this is also something I'm trying to prove. Jadi petani tuh oke loh, banyak loh opportunity untuk menjadi petani di Indonesia, jangan dilihat sebagai hal yang buruk gitu.
Tantangan terbesar tuh apa sih bagi Amanda mengembangkan sayur box?
Salah satu challenge yang kita hadapi itu bisa bareng-bareng itu tim dari segi